sky, land of the pilgrims bright, from every mountainside, let freedom ring.
Please remain standing while Ann Williams leads us in the invocation.
Let us pray. Father, we thank you for all the blessings of our lives. We thank you for each other. We thank you for the food that we've just eaten. We thank you for those who prepared that food. Please bless us as we go out into the community to do your work. In Christ's name we pray. Amen.
Amen. And remain standing a little longer for the song of the day.
Irish rose, the sweetest flower that grows. You may search everywhere, but none can compare with my wild Irish rose. My wild Irish rose, the dearest flower that grows. And someday one day, let me take the bloom from my wild Irish rose.
Well, it sounds like some of you guys may have found the bottle with that label on it. Good effort, team. Very good. It's time to introduce and welcome our visiting Rotarians today.
From Lake Hickory, we welcome Jim Whitworth and Mark Sinclair.
Welcome, Jim and Mark. Do we have any guests of Rotarians in the dining room today? Any guests to my right? Any guests of Rotarians in the center? Nobody wants to come and, oh, here we go. Lynn has a guest over here to my left.
President Suzanne, I have with me today Debbie Major. She works with Rusty Eisenhower. She also is on the school at our club.
So she is the only person in Hickory that might be interested in coming to this program today.
And President Suzanne, I have with us Kristen Arditti, and she is the National Science Center.
Welcome, Kristen. Welcome back. Time for the Rotary moment now. Ann Williams, double duty.
Boys Lock.
Thank you, President Suzanne. We have some birthdays on the 23rd of May. 3 of our members, Mark T., Neil Underdown, and Tony Reed, will celebrate their birthdays. And on May 24th, Bill Sigmund. Clap for that too. All right, now, I went on the website, on this database thing early, and I found something that I think will be interesting. We have a number of members who celebrate their Rotary anniversary in the month of May. Susan Allshouse has been in our club 12 years. Noah Gahagan, 2 years. Cliff Goddard, 2 years. Kathy Greathouse, 9 years. Walter Hart, 1 year. At least this is what the database says. Mike Johnson, 13 years. Lamar Mitchell, 9. Big John Olson, are you back there? 22 years. Craig Sanders, 27 years. Brian Setzler, Brian's here, 12 years. President Suzanne Trollin, 8 years. Sarah Willis, 8 years. And Carl Wogan, 6 years. So let's acknowledge that. Okay, guess where I got my stuff from today? Boys Life.
Yeah.
I finally said I might as well go to Boys Life again. So here, this is from Michael. 4 men are in the hospital waiting room because their wives are having babies. A nurse goes up to the first guy and says, "Congratulations, you're the father of twins." "Well, that's odd," answers the man. "I work for the Minnesota Twins." Another nurse says to the second guy, "Congratulations, you're the father of triplets." Well, that's weird. I worked for 3M. The nurse tells the third man, congratulations, you are the father of quadruplets. Well, that's strange, he says. I work for the Four Seasons Hotel. The last man is groaning and banging his head against the wall. What's wrong, the others asked. I work for 7-Up.
Thank you, Ann. A couple of announcements before we get to the program. Wanted to bring to your attention again that the Hickory Public Schools is asking for assistance with proctoring for end of grade tests. It's something that they have a dire need for, and the dates are June 2nd through the 13th. I've left some information over here on the table with who to contact for each individual school. If that's something that you feel called to do, it would be greatly appreciated. The other thing I'd like to do is just share a thank you that we received from the Stop Hunger Now organization. They thank us for the grateful gift, for our gift of $250 received on April 14th. With your help, we were able to ship more than 41 million meals to 31 countries in 2013. Schools, orphanages, and other community development programs in Haiti, Liberia, Honduras, Swaziland, Nicaragua, Dominican Republic, Afghanistan, Tajikistan, all over the world. We did have a few people who contributed some time to help with that effort as well, and that's something that Rotary is very supportive of, so I appreciate that. With no further ado, I'm going to ask you, instead of putting away your electronic devices, to pull out your electronic devices today for our program. The program is being brought to us by Billy Black, who is the district governor nominee. She is going to be taking over a year from this July, so a little over a year before she starts her term, and she is our resident expert on this database that you've been hearing about. So I'm going to turn it over to Billy now.
I'm not used to being tied down to a podium. If you all can't see, some of you gentlemen in the back, you might want to come and sit up a little closer. The title is DAC-DB, and that's how you pronounce it, DAC-DB. And it stands for District and Club Database. My club is still into paper, and the club, the Franklin Club, is we refer to as the old men and their daddies. And so they're really into paper, and we have not gotten them into DAC-DB. But I'm here to tell you, if you have a computer, this is the best way to go. My husband is the annual funds chair for this district. His name is Ron Weinhoff. And this year I said, I cannot look up all your reports and find telephone numbers for you. You're going to get a quick lesson, and then you're on your own. So if he, at the age of 74, can get in here and mug around and find what he needs, you all can do it. So first of all, I want you to see that there are 74% of the United States clubs are on DAC-DB. So if you want to find somebody, you simply go to the Find feature and put in their name. And I would suggest you put in their last name, unless it's something like Jones, and then you may have to enter more than just the last name. And it will find all the Joneses in the United States and 26% of the world. And you can click on their name and get their telephone number or email address and make contact with them. And I often do this for our members who are making their kids Paul Harris Fellows. And so I look for a club in that area, and I tell them we'd like to do that. Can we send them to your club? And of course they're excited to have a young person come to their club and visit, thinking, oh boy, we might get this member. And then we send the Paul Harris Fellow that way. So it's just another way of linking the Rotary world. And while I'm at it, I am extremely passionate about the foundation as well. And I want to congratulate this club. Number one, you got your goals in. And that is no small feat, Suzanne. Way to go. Less than 42% of the clubs got onto Rotary.org and got their goals in, so you have a treasure in Suzanne. In addition to that, you're almost to the foundation goal, the district goal that we have of $100 per capita. I think you're at 89%, and you probably have not put in your fourth quarter, so thank you so much for all you do for the foundation. And you have a major donor is here in this club, is Mr. Bates. He is a major donor, and so that means he has donated $10,000 or more to the foundation. And we have a, yay! Of course, my cheat sheet is not here. We have a gentleman who is in the Bequest Society, and I think he's Jeremy White. Is he here? Does that one sound not right? Okay, well, I'll look at my notes in a minute and tell you before we get done. But you have two people who have made serious commitment. If some of you are past retirement and looking for a place to give money, I'd be glad to give you my husband's contact. And the Rotary Foundation is an excellent place, so you can give $1,000, which is not bad, you'll never miss it, $10,000. And we have a few Arch Clump Society seats of only $250,000 that you could give, but there are just a few left. So if you want that, you better contact me soon. All right, that's my pitch for the foundation, and thank you so much for what you do for the foundation. In the district and club database, there's something for everybody. If you're a president, this is an invaluable tool. Secretary, treasurer, any of those people, they probably could not function without this because it's a database. You can flip through a virtual book of Rotarians. You can check on phone numbers. You can get a snail mail address to send thank you notes. You can get email addresses. You can look at somebody's picture. If you have brand new members, you could print them up very quickly a database of your club so that they can look at the pictures and say, oh, that's who that guy was. And he, it's a good place to find, he's a construction guy or he's a banker. So this might be a place that your brand new Rotarians would go to find contacts in the community. There's also a calendar of events and bulletin editor. Where are you? He's not here. Do you all put your bulletin editor on DACDB? I mean, your bulletin, not your editor. Your bulletin, you can put your bulletin on DACDB. And when we do the attendance, those people that are left and did not come get an email that says, we missed you, and this was the program, and here's the bulletin that you missed. So it might be something that you might want to consider doing, because they might not want to miss out on that bulletin and important announcements. Now, this is what Suzanne and David will be using to help them with the pink pages and planning guide. This is your dashboard. This is your club dashboard. So when you come to DACDB, there's a link that says club dashboard. And this lets you see how many women you've got, how many men you've got, who's been terminated, your net membership change, attendance, and this is not for your club, but this is where you find out whose birthdays are this week, whose anniversaries in Rotary. And I would suggest that you all start announcing, whoever was the announcer, the Family of Rotary lady, that you start announcing anniversaries, because you can put those in. So if it's Ron and Mai's anniversary, he might need a heads up this week. So you could announce that each week. And then the person whose anniversary it is would say, oh my gosh, I forgot all about that. They're on their own? Okay. But remember, garbage, for those of you that know computers, garbage in, garbage out. If there's no anniversary in there, no birthday in there, then there's no anniversary to come out. And as several people were saying, if that wasn't their Rotary anniversary, that's because the date that you put for your Rotary anniversary is not correct in the database. So you need to get in there and correct that. And this, again, this is member age, member gender. And one of the big things that we'd like you to do is put in your age. So mine is 10, 30, 50. And some people say, well, I don't want everybody to know how old I am. Well, your person doesn't have to announce that it's your 92nd birthday, although if I get to be that old and I'm still healthy, I want everybody to know that I'm 92. But it also helps Rotary know how are we aging. Are we hitting the 30-somethings, or are we all over 90? So this would be a great help if we can get this in the database. Years of service, membership type, do you have Rule of 85? Are they active? Are they on leave? So the powerful find feature. This is the find feature. And notice up at the top, in green, the second tab to the right says Find. If you want to find somebody, you click on the Find feature, and this is what it looks like. You put in the name, and we typed in Thacker. If you happen to know their member number, you could put that in. How many of you know your friend's member number? Right, I don't know why Mike's got that in there. It's not something you're going to remember. But you might know, I sometimes filter by club, so that if all I can remember is Mike in the Hickory Club, I put Mike in the Hickory Club, and that helps narrow down my search. And then you click on search. Before you do that, let's see if right here is a global click. And if they're not in our district, if you're trying to find a Rotarian in Colorado, you click that global search. It takes a little longer, so don't click it unless you're serious about searching outside our district. Then you can find everybody in all of those clubs that use DACDB throughout the United States. And the results are just below, and it lists all of the Thackers that the database found, and you can click on view and find their telephone number, their email address, and whatever. For those of you that have a cell phone, you go to, and is there anybody that's interested in the cell phone? Okay, it's m as in mobile, .dacdb.com. You go to the Safari or the whatever your browser is on your mobile phone, and that will create an app for you. You can't find this app in the App Store. You have to type m.dacdb.com. And when I'm going down the road, I stay logged into that. You know, just click Remember Me. And I can, let's say I'm lost and I want to get in contact with David. I go to Clubs, Hickory, I look for David's name, and I hit his phone number. And it calls from my mobile phone. So you all may not be traveling through the district, but for each other, you might need your banker, your real estate agent, whoever you are using in this club, and I hope that you use each other as business contacts, and you can find their email address, their cell phone number. You might have their cell phone number in your cell phone, but maybe you don't have their home number or their office number. All of those are on mobile DACDB. Now this is what your member profile looks like if you have entered everything. Some of you have sparse entries. If you have not put in your cell phone or your home phone or your office phone, people can't get you there because they don't know what it is. So I'm going to jump to this and see if we still have an internet connection. This is what it looks like when you go to log in, and I put a little shortcut on my desktop, and right here it says create a DACDB shortcut. If you would like to have a shortcut on your computer, you simply click on that and drag it over to your desktop, and then you just have something you can click on readily. But let me show you for members.
It's not on the screen.
Well, that's special. Thank you. This is always a challenge. Let's just move it over that way. There we go. See if I can slide it up. Okay. Right here at the bottom of the screen on the left hand says create DACDB shortcut. And on the right-hand side, it takes you to mobile DACDB or create a mobile desktop. So now, notice that all of my information is in there. Once you put your information in there, click the little box that says Remember Me, and every time you come back, you don't have to look up all those pieces of information. I will tell you, you used to be able to get things that you needed without your club number, but if you're an officer and you're looking for specific things, you need to have your club number in there. So I'm going to log in. And show you the Find feature. So I would simply put a name in here. And David, is it Moore? M-O-O-R-E? And I'm having to move back and forth because of how big the screen is. But notice there's a Blanchard Kathleen, and I don't have any idea why she's listed under more, but there's something about her that has more in her.
Whoa.
She's the Moore Funeral Home.
There's more.
There's more. Okay, there's a David Moore in Silva, but here's our David Moore in Hickory. It's very easy to find. And so I could click on his name, and it'll take me straight to open my email and send him an email. Or I can click just under his name, it says Hickory, and it will take me to the Hickory Club site on here where I can look at all the names and see if he's an officer or how to find his club. Or I could come over here, and again we're going to have to slide over, and you will not see impersonate. I get to do impersonate because I'm a level 7, but you will not see that word. That means I can be him on the database if I want to change something evil. And it will say David did it. So I can view it, and if I wanted to edit it, I could, or I could delete him from here, but you all will probably not be able to delete him. But so let's view it. And there he is. He's got a great picture. It tells that he's a Paul Harris Fellow. Notice he's got his snail mail address up there by his name. It's got his Rotary ID number. It's got a home telephone number, an office telephone number, no cell number. David, you need to get in and put a cell number. Tells what Hickory, his Hickory Club, his classification, his business, and notice that there's a business website. So I could go straight from here and see what his business website looks like. So if you're interested in using him for business, you could click on that and see what he has to offer. So lots of things to offer. There is a P-mail envelope at the top right. P-mail means personal mail. And when you click this, you get offered several different things, but essentially what a P-mail does, it says, Dear David. And if you're sending it to everybody in your club, it says, Dear David, or Dear Billy, or Dear Ann, and then it gives information.
Does everybody have that?
Does everybody have P-mail? Yes, ma'am.
What is that little icon?
No? You don't have an icon? What, are you looking at somebody's,
I'm looking at Ann's iPad.
and is it Ann's name?
No, I've got David Moore.
Okay, so, and it doesn't let you P-mail David? Well, I'll have to ask the powers that be to see, you're an officer, to see if members perhaps cannot P-mail.
I bet that's right.
That probably could be. If you're a member, you're a level 1, and it limits what you can do. So that what that is preventing, if, where's my arts council lady, Lynn? If Lynn decides, ooh, I'm going to get on DAC-DB and I'm going to send an invitation to every Rotarian to come to the Arts Council's gala at $100 a shot. That's a no-no. It's not to be used for business or anything like that. That kind of solicitation.
What good is it?
Now, if she wants to email David, she can click on David's email address and that will open her Outlook or whatever her email function is, and it allows you to email David. So she could do that. But P-mail, if you're an officer, you can P-mail everybody in the club and say, Dear David, you know, come to the board meeting tomorrow, make sure you bring this, that, and the other. And it's just like, well, let's go. Let's look at what it looks like. Notice that you could print this or you could put it into a Word doc. I'm not sure why you would want to send it to a Word doc, but nevertheless. Okay, these are the P-mail templates. It's hard to do without a mouse. Anybody see my mouse? It's another way. There it is. So we come down and we look at all the things that we could do. Notice that you could say, I missed you at our meeting. So this could be something that you send and that's in the bulletin. You can say the club has proposed a new member and these, you know, this is who it is and what we're doing. There's an easy login, and when you send that to a member, it gives them all of their information to log into DACDB. But generally, I use number 1, which is just Dear Rotarian, and then I can write my own message. Come on. And so down at the bottom, it works just like a Word doc. And it pulls his name, it pulls my information at the bottom, so it says it's from Billy Black, gives my contact information. And you can type in there and notice all the different, you can bold it, you can color it, you can do whatever you need to do. So, great tool for officers. But let's go back in. David, may we edit yours? Yeah. Okay. I'm going to go back into clubs and show you what this looks like. This gives you every club, and you can view the club. You can find directions to the club, when they meet. Well, we're just going to go down to Hickory and over to view. And here's your club. And if somebody asks you what your club number is, there's your club number. There's your district number. So your club number right there at the top. And all of your officers are there at the top. There's where your club meets. Your club calendar. You could put all of your calendared events in there and do club calendar. You can look at the district calendar to see when things are happening at the district level. And club bulletin is there. And so you could put your bulletins there and look up your bulletins. And the district newsletters are there. I think all of you got an email yesterday saying the district newsletter had arrived. And if you lose that or delete it, you can get your district newsletter here. But let's go down and find somebody. Does everybody have pictures in here? I think you have done a pretty good job of getting pictures. And this is the old, remember you used to have a roster in your bulletin? It used to look something like this. You'd have people's name, their type of Rotarian, whether they're active, rule of 85, home phone number, office phone number, whether they're Paul Harris Fellow. This Paul Harris Fellow is a physical click. It does not come from the Rotary database. So Raven, when Raven becomes a Paul Harris Fellow, somebody needs to come in here and check that box. It's not going to be done by RI. So this is something you need to do at the club level. Okay, I'm just going to, since it'll take me forever to find David, see if I can. Have I gotten far enough down? You have such a big club. Well, I can't edit from the officers. I can edit from down here.
Stop there, go back up.
Stop. Okay. Now this tells me that there's data, there's a picture, I can edit, I can view, or I could terminate him. So we don't want to terminate him because that would create problems.
Let's edit him a little while.
Okay, let's edit him.
Social Security number is,
Now, when you get here, you have all of these cool little tabs. And I would suggest that you go through each tab and add to the tab whatever is missing. Now, in David's case, it asks, should he be deleted? That's so you can check on past members. There's his ID number. He's active. He's a Mr. His first name, middle name, last name. Genders, and that's where, if we're trying to find out how many females and how many males are in your club, if you haven't picked gender, we don't know. We had several unknowns. Badge title, if you have a nickname, make sure you put your badge title in there so that when we create badges for an installation dinner or at the district level, we use that badge number to make great big on the top. Okay, there's his start date. Now if that is not correct, somebody needs to look, and many of you may have your installation document. Your installation document may be hanging on the wall in your office and it tells the date that you were installed in Rotary. And if not, you can call the contact center at RI and they'll tell you what date they have. If you've been a Rotarian for longer than 35 years, they don't know. We did not keep records. So the only thing that you've got is that installation document. So go back and check and see if you can figure it out and enter that date. Birthplace, sponsor. David, did you not have a sponsor?
They didn't have those back then.
Back in the dark ages? Put your sponsor in there. It's real important that as you bring in new members, you put a sponsor, because RI is now sending a little button to go behind your Rotary button that indicates to everybody that you've sponsored someone. There's a blue one for up to 5. I think a red one goes from 5 to 10, and it changes colors. So Rotary would like to know that. Then number of people sponsored, if you have language skill, what's your classification? That's interesting. Your plumbing and heating and your business name is the same as my son's name. And there's the occupation code. So, photo, if you don't have a photo on there, you'll want to upload a photo. And you simply put your photo on your computer, click browse, and it will go to your folders on your computer. You find where you save your picture and upload your photo. Let's go back to the top. Contact information. So this is, you can put home and business. Log in, and this is where you put your spouse. So, you know, your spouse's first name, last name if it's different. Is she a Rotarian or he a Rotarian? Your spouse's birthday, and then you could announce these monthly or whatever. I'm not going to go through every single one of these, but all of the things that you saw on his front page are located here. If you're a Paul Harris Fellow, you need to indicate that on one of these tabs. If you're a major donor, indicate on that tab. Several times I'll be looking for a list of major donors, and I'll come here and say, give me a report of all the major donors, and it returns about 6. That's because most major donors have not gone in here and told us that they're a major donor. So please come in here, take the time. If you're not comfortable, I will be here for a little while, and some of you may have a buddy that is really comfy and really savvy. We'll sit down and get all of your information in. And I hear that they're threatening, for those of you that don't have pictures, that they're going to go to the DMV and put your DMV picture in here. So you better put a good picture.
Go
Okay.
post office.
Out on the post office, that's a good idea. Okay, we talked about my club, and for each person, if we click that now, that would be Franklin Daybreak, because I'm logged in. My data, and that would be my data, that's me. And so that's all of my information, and notice, David, I have a cell phone number. Committees, now these are the committees of your club. And these are district committees. So you can look at the assistant governors, the CART chair. If you want to know who is in charge of CART, you would come down here to the CART chair committee and click on view and open that up, and you could see who's on that CART committee and who you might email to find out information. And there's all sorts of committees. This is where I go to find out who my president nominees are. When I need to email them, there is a committee called President Nominees. And I can view them and see that there are 5 clubs without a president nominee. And you can betcha that I'm, emailing those clubs and saying, I need a president nominee so they can start working now. Calendar, how many of you have not been to the calendar? The calendar lists everything from everybody's clubs and the district. So if you have a bike ride or an art fundraiser, you should put that on the calendar so that people can see what's going on, what time, where they go, how they get tickets. The Highlands Club is going to have a Twilight 5K, and they recently just put it out there. It's on August 23rd. So if you're interested in doing a 5K in the evening and spending a little time up in Highlands, there's an application online on the calendar. Rotary Leadership Institute is here. You can register for the district conference here. And let's look at that. The district conference is, see there's the Murphy golf tournament. Somebody help me when the district conference is. It must be a little later than that because I'm not seeing it. There's Ryla Camp. There it is. So there's the district conference. On the right-hand side, if you need to make your hotel reservation, you click there. It takes you to the place to make a hotel reservation with your reduced rate already in. So oftentimes there's a reduced rate and you end up having to call the hotel and say, I'm a Rotarian, I'll be going and I need the reduced rate. This logs you straight in and allows you to use the reduced rate. And you simply click on, since I'm registered, up there where it says edit my registration, normally it would say register. And it pulls up a registration form and you register and you can pay online, or if your club's going to pay later, then your club treasurer can send it in. If you're a big group, if several of you are going to get paid for or subsidized by the club, you can send that in. So that is the calendar. And notice that there's a Credo Rotary Golf Club fundraiser. That's in 7550, and I guess they have asked us to put it in our database so that some of you that are big golfers might know that you can go to Southern Virginia and get in on this golf tournament. So get in there and check out all of the things there. Notice the next one up there is called dues. My club has purchased the dues module, and we can use it instead of QuickBooks to bill our members. So if that's something you guys are interested in, that's a whole nother discussion, but that's why that dues tab is there. You are already paying for DAC-DB in your Rotary dues, and you are already paying for the attendance module. So if you don't use attendance online, it's already $1 from every single one of you comes out of your dues to pay for that. So you might consider having somebody sitting up with a tablet, and as you come in, they click your name, and they know that you're here, and when the meeting is over, the secretary or whoever does the attendance says, send makeup advisory. And it sends a email and says, sorry, we missed you. This was our speaker, so you have to type in a couple lines about who the speaker is, attach the bulletin, and it goes to everybody that wasn't here. It really keeps you in contact with your members and allows you to quickly do that before you leave Rotary. And you don't have to go back to the office and say, okay, who wasn't here? I got to write it all down, put it in. It also creates your attendance report 2 weeks afterwards, so that automatically gets sent to RI. So you just have to say create and send to RI. The next one is called reports, and the reports is where, and who was the gentleman I was speaking to that does your website? Yes, he takes the report and he created a database of directory of your members and printed it to PDF, and he has it on your website. So that's a report. He said, see membership directory, and you can decide, I want a membership directory that has everybody's pictures, which is what he did, or you can have a membership directory that just has members' names and telephone numbers, if you wanted to put that on the website. Be careful of putting things on the website that have email addresses, though, because that's how spammers get your email address. So I think he's put that behind a password.
Yeah, it is password protected.
Good. Okay, notice down at the bottom it has contact and emailing list, district and club leadership, district committees, council of governors, and if you go a little bit farther down, you see the attendance reports. And this is if you do attendance with a piece of paper, it'll make your attendance report. There's mailing labels, so if you want to create mailing labels and send a snail mail to invite people to installations or something important, you can create them here. You can create badges for programs, and you can create business cards. And these would be Rotary business cards, so if you're an officer and you're going to the International Convention, and Suzanne is, you might want to have something that says Suzanne, put your picture on it with a Rotary emblem and say who she is, so that she can exchange it with other international people. Are you supposed to be done in 2 minutes?
Yes.
Okay, let me finish up. The grants tab is where you go to enter your grants, and it's just 2 over. And what if there was another one that we needed to? I'm having issues with the mouse. There's your attendance, your files, your admin, your setup. You can look at help, and your webmaster has put the help for this on your website. So you can either go here and click help and choose to get a live person, because there's a telephone number and email address, or you can simply go and print out the manual. Most of you are probably not manual readers, so you need to call Mark or Mike and they'd be glad to help you. Somebody from here, Eisenhower? Rusty called yesterday and said, we're having this, I want to make sure everybody has their information. So I don't want to go over, but realize how powerful this is. There is so much in here that you can use, and you're already paying for it, so you might as well be savvy about it. And those of you that are not retired and still in business, you may want to add that mobile to your mobile phone so that you can get in contact with your business associates in Rotary. I would take questions, but I'll just stay around so that you can close the meeting, and I'll stay around and answer questions after the meeting so some of you can get back to business.
Thank you so much, Billy, for doing that for us today. Hopefully we got a few more people on board with this. I have found the most valuable thing to be the app on my phone to call somebody or email somebody just right at that moment when I need it. Obviously, a lot of the reports and stuff are more valuable to the club officers, but it's a really great source of information and a way to connect with people. We appreciate you being here to help us with that. It's time for our Service Above Self Scholarship Raffle.
We do have Jeremy White listed on your rolls, and he's a Bequest Society member, so find him. He's got some money.
51 cards, 2 jokers. We took in 68 for a total of 128.
Wow, fancy. I'll have to tell the old men and their daddies that you guys have a really cool thing. They have a shoebox.
Our winning ticket number is 744-7975. Oh, Dapper Dan Kirby here. Anybody deserves a free lunch or half the pot, it would be Dan. You get a free lunch? That's the least we can do for Dan. So the only announcement I have for you guys today as we end is that I am taking off on a big airplane this afternoon to head to Sydney, Australia to represent you at the International Convention. And I really appreciate the opportunity to do this. It's truly the trip of a lifetime, but from what I've heard from past presidents who have done this, it's just a great opportunity to see what Rotary International is doing worldwide and to connect with some other great people. I'm going to be hosted by a club that is predominantly Asian in Sydney for the night, and that's going to be a neat experience for me as well, so thank you. Please remember your cart contributions. Online makeup instructions are in this boat, and let's please stand and close with the four-way test. As Rotarians, of the things we think, say, and do, is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned?